even on immigration. And I've got two interviews. I'm joined by Representatives Robert Garcia and Maxwell Frost in El Salvador to discuss their efforts to bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the U.S. And I'm joined by David Hogg to talk about his effort to oust Democratic incumbents to recruit newer candidates. I'm Brian Tyler Cohen, and you're watching No Lie. So a lot of new polling has come out that signals disaster for Trump, specifically in the latest New York Times Siena poll, which has Trump at negative net 12 points overall, and he's underwater on every single issue, managing the federal government, the economy, foreign conflicts, Russia, Ukraine. But I want to focus on one issue in particular, because this one is especially telling. The deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia was viewed by a lot of Democrats as a trap. There was a story in Axios that garnered a lot of attention and candidly probably represented the view of a good number of Democrats. That reporting read, the second House Democrat, who spoke anonymously, a centrist, called the deportation issue a soup du jour, arguing Trump is setting a trap for the Democrats and, like usual, we're falling for it. Rather than talking about the tariff policy and the economy, the thing where his numbers are tanking, we're going to go take the bait for one hairdresser, they said, likely referring to Andrew Hernandez Romero. Only if Trump tries to deport U.S. citizens, the lawmaker argued, will Democrats need to draw a line in the sand and shut down the House. And look, I understand the argument that when Donald Trump is so mismanaging the economy and doing so in the immediate aftermath of an election where he won based on the economy, why in the world would you pivot to his best issue, which is the issue of immigration? And my pushback to that has always been that there is no world in which allowing Donald Trump to disappear a legal resident with zero due process in stark defiance of a unanimous Supreme Court ruling demanding his release is popular, and no world in which it is acceptable that we just allow it to happen. You cannot be in politics and think that that is okay. Like, if you're not going to go to the mat and defend the very concept of democracy, of due process, of checks and balances, then what's the point to any of this? And of course, there were a lot of us making that case. And then, going back to the New York Times polling, the immigration numbers came out. Donald Trump is at net negative 4 points on immigration. The majority of this country now disapproves of him on the one issue that he had the highest support on. And on the issue of Kilmar Abrego Garcia specifically, he's at negative 21. Negative 21 points, which tells us a few things here. First and foremost, do not shy away from culture wars. Fight them and win them. Make the case. Go everywhere. Explain the facts and repeat them over and over and over. I even debated Tomi Lahren on my friend Alex Michelson's show on this exact issue, and she herself reiterated those nervous Democrats' claims about dying on the immigration hill.
If Democrats really want to die on the hill of bringing back plane loads of criminal, illegal alien gang members...
But you haven't proven that they're criminals.
Please,
that's the problem.
Be my guest.
Honestly, like, look, I will be the first one to say, if there is a criminal, if there's a gang member in this country, someone who has committed any crime, big or small, get him out, sure. I'll absolutely concede that. We don't need criminals in this country. But if you're talking about somebody who you don't know because you haven't afforded them due process, then you can't just make that claim.
But the fact remains, President Trump is not only securing our border, but he is deporting criminal, illegal aliens. And if Democrats want to stand in the way of that, and they want to tell their constituents, hey, vote for us in the midterms, vote for us in 2028, we'll make sure that the criminal aliens come back. Far be it for me to stand in your way. Continue that message. Best of luck with it.
All right. And if Republicans want to run on, hey, we can disappear you with no due process, far be it for me to stand in your way. If Republicans want to turn the United States into Russia, where we disappear political opponents with zero due process, sending them to foreign gulags somewhere, if that's really what you're running on behind the banner of the Party of Law and Order, be my guest. And yet, I trudged up that hill anyway, as did so many people on the left. As did Senator Van Hollen and Representatives Robert Garcia and Maxwell Frost, who you'll hear from in just a moment, as did lawyers and pundits and electeds, and we made the case, and we won the country over because we didn't back down. Republicans were so excited to exploit this issue because they thrive in culture wars. They figure that if a culture war is present, they will win it by default. But the reality is that when Democrats are aggressive and coordinated and organized and fast, we will win. There has been a general posture of fight for the last few months on the left, and when we make that posture the foundation of our politics, we can turn Trump's best issue into his worst. So I hope this all serves as a warning to feckless Democrats. You will not win if you play scared, but if you have conviction and purpose and speed and passion, then you will. This is the test case. If we can fight and win on immigration, on this issue, we can fight and win on anything. We just have to be willing, again, to go to the mat. Next up are previews of my interviews with Robert Garcia and Maxwell Frost, along with David Hogg. But as always, on just one video per week, this one, my No Live Video podcast, I have sponsors. So here's a quick word from some sponsors, and then my interviews with Robert Garcia, Maxwell Frost, and David Hogg. No Lie is brought to you by Beam. In today's America, every day feels like a barrage of news that keeps you up at night. Rights under attack, chaos dominating the headlines, the uncertainty, the stress, it is exhausting. And honestly, the people benefiting from this chaos are counting on you being too tired to push back. But here's the thing. Rest is resistance. You can't stay in the fight for what's right if you are running on empty. That's why I'm excited to tell you about something that's truly changed the game for me. Beam's Dream Powder. I found myself endlessly scrolling through the latest outrages, my mind racing, and every morning I'd be exhausted, burned out, like I was falling behind on everything that matters. But when I started using Dream, everything changed. Dream helps me sleep through the night, no more tossing or turning, and I wake up feeling refreshed, not groggy. It's become a must in my nighttime routine, helping me recharge so I can get up and stay engaged in what actually matters. So what makes Dream so effective? It's packed with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients that actually works. Reishi, known for its calming properties, magnesium, which supports deep restorative sleep, L-theanine, an amino acid that helps you relax without feeling drowsy, apigenin, which supports falling asleep faster, and melatonin to help regulate your natural sleep cycle. It is designed to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling clear and focused. And the best part, no grogginess. Unlike other sleep aids that leave you feeling sluggish, Dream lets you wake up energized, sharp, and ready to take on the day. Oh, and did I mention, it tastes incredible. Smooth, delicious, easy to add to your nighttime routine. It is simple, effective, and it works. Since I started using Dream, my focus came back, my energy returned, I'm ready to face the day and to fight for the things that matter. And I'm not the only one. Beam's Dream Powder has improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep for people across the country. Here's the deal. Beam is giving No Lie listeners an exclusive 40% off. That's right, 40% off their best-selling Dream Powder, but only for a limited time. All you need to do is go to shopbeam.com/BTC and use code BTC at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/BTC and use code BTC for 40% off. Because let's be honest, you can't stay in the fight if you're too tired to show up. Rest well, wake up ready, and keep pushing for progress. Rest is resistance. No Lie is brought to you by Smalls. So I am the biggest animal lover that you will ever find. I'm sure that if you've seen my content, you've often seen my dog sitting behind me. But I also have a cat. Although he's not specifically my cat, he's a neighborhood cat, comes to my door every single day to the point where I now buy food every single month for a cat that isn't technically mine. But I love this cat. He is my responsibility, and I have to make sure to feed him every day and to feed him with food that is actually good. And that's why I love Smalls. Smalls cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free ingredients that you would find in your fridge, and it's delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. And you're probably wondering, why can't I just feed my cat kibble? Believe it or not, your cute kitty descended from ferocious desert cats who hunted live prey for food, and your cat isn't any different. They still need fresh, protein-packed meals to be at their best. Other cat food brands know this, but they choose to put their wallets first. They fill their food with mysterious meat byproducts, artificial flavoring, and preservatives with names that I don't even want to try to pronounce. If that sounds gross, imagine having to eat it every day. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. That is a big deal. The team at Smalls is so confident that your cat is going to love their product that you can try it risk-free. That means they will refund you if your cat won't eat their food. For a limited time only, because you're a No Lie listener, you can get 35% off Smalls plus an additional 50% off your first order by using my code BTC. That's an additional 50% off when you head to smalls.com and use promo code BTC. Again, that's promo code BTC for an additional 50% off your first order plus free shipping at smalls.com. So you guys are both coming to me from El Salvador. Can you explain, obviously, what you're doing there and what you seek to accomplish?
Well, thanks. Look, we both Maxwell and I have been very committed to the release of Kilmar Abreu Garcia. People are probably aware we have been fighting like hell to ensure that this country is a place that actually listens to decisions by the Supreme Court. Donald Trump is defying a 9-0 order by the Supreme Court to return Kilmar, who was illegally taken to El Salvador, and return him back to the United States. We also know that lower courts have affirmed this. The Trump administration has essentially said we made a mistake. We shouldn't have sent him there. So Maxwell and I requested an official delegation to El Salvador, to James Comer. We're both on oversight. They denied that official congressional delegation trip. And we said, you can deny us, so we're going to come here anyways, no matter what. And so we're here in El Salvador on the ground now. And Maxwell and I and two other members are committed to this fight.
So, given the fact that James Comer denied your request for a congressional delegation, a CODEL, first and foremost, are you guys safe by virtue of being there without the protections that would be afforded to you if you had done it through a CODEL?
Obviously there's always risks associated with all these trips, but we took that into account as we put together the itinerary and the schedule. I mean, there's a reason why everyone found out we were here when we got here already, and it's really important for our security. But the other thing is, like Robert said, we didn't want to allow that this denial of our requests keep us from doing the work that we need to do. And the fact of the matter is, both of our offices are receiving tons and tons and tons of letters, mail, phone calls, emails of constituents who are saying, go out there, fight for due process. Or I've heard from people who said, I see myself represented in the situation. Like I'm Abrego Garcia, like this could be me. And so for us, we don't want to wait until this situation gets out of hand and Donald Trump is actually doing this to U.S. citizens and even more people. Now's the time when we have to stand up for this. So, we wish we'd be here on an official CODEL. Obviously, it gives us more resources, the ability to do a little bit more. But we didn't run for Congress to just cower away when a Republican idiot like Comer tells us no. And so when we got that letter, we, called each other up and said, let's do it anyway.
So you have been very much in the news as of late, in the aftermath of your announcement that you would be looking to primary Democrats who are in safe seats as an effort to, as part of a broader effort to bring fresh blood into the party and help our ailing approval rating. I think Democrats are in, roughly high 20% approval rating. And so there's been obviously a lot of pushback to what you're doing. So first and foremost, what I want to do here is kind of have a little back and forth and like a quasi debate, so to speak, and you kind of explain your positioning here against all of the criticism that you have received here. So first and foremost, I think the main thing is that folks are saying we should be spending money, attention, resources on winning back these battleground seats. And so why focus our attention, our limited resources on the Democrats who are in safe seats?
Look, I think it is possible for us to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. Leaders We Deserve is also focused on supporting candidates that are critical to gaining majorities for Democrats, both in the House and in state legislatures, where we did a lot of work last election cycle. So I would say to that comment, right now, we're going to have to spend several $100 million no matter what supporting, and by we, I mean the party in general, is going to have to spend several $100 million supporting frontline candidates that are critical to winning back the majority. If there are young people that are running there that are aligned with our values of Leaders We Deserve, we plan on supporting them so that we can win back the majority. We also need to realize, though, part of the reason we need to spend that much is because our approval rating is awful. And that goes beyond just what our candidates in our frontline districts are doing. That is a culmination of how all 200 plus members of Congress that are Democrats, what they do, and our other elected Democrats around the country. And what we're trying to do here is show how we're actively working to make sure that our members of Congress are meeting the moment. And this is not just about age. Yes, our candidates, they are younger, but we are not just challenging people because they're above a certain age. There are older and younger people. Unfortunately, there are people of all ages who suck. There are plenty of young people who are not great. There are plenty of older people who are not great. But what we're looking at is it's not out with the old and in with the new. It's out with the ineffective and in with the effective. Because I think if you look at Congress right now and think that this is the best that the Democratic Party can do, I think we need to dream a little bit bigger right here and having a healthy process of offering in some of these races the voters the option of voting for somebody else who is younger, typically, or at least more competent or less corrupt and able to meet this moment isn't a bad thing. When last cycle we had $2 billion and we still lost. And I think part of that is because of our brand and approval rating as a party. And people say all the time, this is a messaging problem. This is a messaging problem. Sometimes it doesn't matter how good the script is. Shakespeare could write it for all I care. if you have bad actors, it does not matter if the message is not getting through.
And of course, to watch the full reviews with Robert Garcia and Maxwell Frost and David Hogg, click the thumbnails right here on the screen or check out the interviews playlist on my YouTube channel. You can also click the screen for the link to my audio version of this podcast, and of course, to see more of my content, the subscribe button's on the screen as well.